drum to what we love. Risk the following, have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
There. So downfall, he does have a bit of an open opportunity, and he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Ooh, infill pass.
Oh, yes,
Nice.
that was excellent play out of Condors.
Now, forward, but he can't get away from it. Slightly takes him down in the backside of the fight. One goes down as well. Potch gets taken down. And look what the Siren just pushed away, still alive. But now here comes the four-man shockwave. But doesn't even matter because Forts to deal back.
to Summoner's Rift.
Okay, hopefully we got things working out here. You know, I can see my audio now working down on the TriCaster. So technology. All I can say is that you can't live without it, and when you try and live with it, it throws an error at you, or a glitch, or some sort of fancy-dancy issue that doesn't want to resolve itself peacefully. But either way, we managed to get a workaround going here tonight, so we will be able to cast some League of Legends here tonight. Now, I had a great spiel going on there about how this was playoffs, how this was an inner-city battle, how, despite Waterloo having the historical record against us, that we will reign supreme here tonight. But instead of just repeating myself and all that, because, you know what, I'm mind-addicted enough for you guys. If you guys couldn't hear me, you just needed to lip read that. But regardless, here we are. Game 1. Monsters have spawned, so jungling action is taken off. And we do see that it's fairly standard start, I would say. Lopachinski starting on blue buff, Viego starting on blue buff as well. Both junglers passing away from each other, which is a little surprising. But overall, you know, a little expected as well, because, I mean, who wants to face Lopachinski? Senpai does, currently, as he is going for an invade, and that's a fairly greedy invade as well. Now, he also passed up through Tribush as well, so that defensive ward put down by Raptors isn't actually seeing Viego there, which, to me, is like a brilliant heads-up play to recognize that ward probably went down, to be able to walk around, stay out of vision, which puts yourself ahead in jungle tempo as well. Or at least in terms of stealing XP. But, you know, who cares about junglers besides me, because I am one, is that there is a fight bot lane. And Slayers with a great flash into the alcove there. But Senpai Cheese, well, he pays the price for his cheese. And we all know in today's economy, cheese is expensive. And it's about 300 gold worth in this game 1 here so far. And so while Lopachinski may be down XP now, he's up a kill. He's up gold. He does have that kill XP as well. So potentially he can actually get a lead from this as well. Eternity with that collapse also gets the assist. And he is pounding on Regretful Angel pretty well. And now Flex goes for Aurelion Soul here. Aurelion Soul gets under tower. Decker's surviving that. But now could be a 3-man collapse on Cascadia. Now Lopachinski was spotted out on a ward. Eternity, you are awfully low there. He flashes out, and Flex manages to survive. Pulls out the flash from Become Decker there. And Condors, they still have an early game lead, but slightly gets caught here by Senpai Cheese and has to flash out. Does successfully get out there as well. So overall, Condors, 1.3k gold lead in the first 4 minutes. Pretty good starting point, I would say, for them. Now it's about maintaining that lead, snowballing it, getting objectives to see what they can do with it. And we do see that 2 kills are on Slayers. He already has that Noon Quiver. This is a massive power spike this early on for him. And I would want to see Lopachinski right now play towards bot lane. Play for that win condition top, because playing for Eternity and/or if you're Senpai Cheese, I mean, what's a Fed Orin going to do? A Fed Mordekaiser can carry a game, can be a raid boss. Same with an Orin, but ultimately, they're not going to do as much damage. They're not going to clap. They're not going to be as readily available to carry the team fight. But Lopachinski finds another gank on the Plex, and Plex, without flash, got turned into boots. If Cassiopeia can't wear them, there's nothing in the rules that says that she can't become them. So, well, I don't know. Do dragons wear boots, or do they wear something else on their feet? Or do they just go barefoot because they're dragons? Or do they float, and therefore have no need of shoes? Either way, if I was an investigative journalist, those would be the questions I was asking. But here right now, I'm focusing on casting, and the next objective up is the Chemtech Dragon. And we already see Senpai Cheese and the bot lane for Waterloo already make a rotation too there, but Lopachinski and the Condor bot lane is there as well. Plex has first move, so it will be a 4v3. And I think Condors have the gold advantage in this situation right now. Really, until it's a bit late. Lobaczynski goes in over the pit, and he gets the kill. Can he get the dragon? He gets the dragon as well. This is a heads-up play for Condors. No matter how it goes, Flex is burned low and will get a return kill on Become Decker, but Scrim, now trapped in the pit, has to flash out. And regardless, that's 3 kills for the Condors, traded back for 2. They also steal the dragon. They're now up 2,000 gold, so the Condors, well, a Condor is an opportunistic bird. Not necessarily a predator, but they will take advantage of ideal situations. And that situation, despite the slow rotation from Decker, was ideal. They had the gold advantage, and they leveraged that early to win that fight. That is how that fight was won there. And now because of it, they get the snowball even more. They get the dragon. And a Chemtech dragon early feels oh so good, especially when you're trading. And right now, those extra resistances help so much when you're low and trying to trade for a kill. Whew. Okay, so it's a banger 6 minutes 30 seconds so far with 10 kills already. More than succeeding in a 1 kill a minute game, which generally means that it's a bloody affair. And now, I would almost say these two teams need to take a step back, take a breather before launching into the next objective. Right now, the next objective is looking to be Rift Herald. It spawns about the 8-minute mark, so still a minute before it comes up. But that does mean that the Condors can move their vision up towards it, maybe swap their bot lane top for it, or at least move the mid early. Or I would say at least get their vision up there. Make sure Lobaczynski, who has priority, can play for them. But instead, it's going to be a bit of a shenanigans bot lane here. But the turrets dissuade that, and Lobaczynski's there, gets the clap on Karma, and overflowing back to base, and Regretful Angel. He's trading more with Eternity, and right now, these two top laners, I would say they're at a pool party. Pool noodles, whacking each other. Doing no real damage, but, you know, having a good fingers in there. So, Eternity, a little bit of a CS lead, but Regretful Angel should be able to eat that up, no problem. Overall, top, fairly standard, fairly straightforward. Now, Plex, despite dying, despite still not having flash, has 2 kills at least, which probably were the ones picked up at Dragon, and is up about 15-20 CS depending on the wave right now. So overall, still doing a fairly good job in lane despite losing the map pressure, and now is putting a lot of pressure on Become Decker. Become Decker uses that E ability. I want to say Astral Flight for some reason, but flies out of trouble, flies to safety. Now Lobaczynski is in there, does have the Cyclone available, but Cassiopeia is still a very, very scary snake at the end of the day, and can do quite a bit of damage if you let her just free fire those twin bites on you and get that poison across. Definitely more annoying than Singe when it comes to applying poison, because Singe, you know, you gently kite him. Cassiopeia, once she starts getting on you and applying that poison with the 20 click abilities, it's hard to get away. Where Singe, you just can't actually run away from him. But Senpai Cheese here looking for a turn in the top lane. Lobaczynski is matching the pathing top right now, but he was spotted out, and so Eternity and Lobaczynski pops down. There will be a fight for the Scuttle Crab top and potentially Rift Herald, but Senpai Cheese, knowing his top lane doesn't have priority, wisely gives up this Scuttle Crab, as Flex also isn't in lane. So that is a double lane priority for the Condors, which then could collapse. So we do see the ping onto the Rift Herald, and that does mean that Condors, I would say, safely pick up the Rift Herald here. Next Dragon in a minute, so right away we will see probably some sort of fight bot lane, whether it's over vision to set up for the Dragon or for the Dragon itself. And right now, Slayers and Slightly, despite having the gold advantage, they need to buy ASAP, so that way their tempo for Dragon isn't ruined. And also, Ezreal, Karma need to buy as well. We just saw that there's a 1,400 gold buy waiting for Ezreal when he goes back. So hopefully Condors can match that buy, match that tempo, because Dragon, in 30 seconds, there will be a fight for it. Neither team has great tempo for it, as they will be setting up vision for it as it spawns instead of before. And right now, Plex is getting priority in mid lane. Has that one extra melee minion up, which means that the wave will push towards Become Decker and allow Cassiopeia to rotate first. So, Dragon, coming up now, we see in Overflow on the Karma already passing with the jungler Diego to help secure vision to fight that. But there's 3 members of Condors already there as well. And that means Scrim is kind of alone in the bot lane and could be picked here if he's not careful.
Never falter.
And I think that is exactly what the Condors might be looking to do right now. They lock down Diego. Diego gets popped and looked to try and flash. That was actually Puck going for the flash there. The Cyclone is huge and now in Overflow. Well, he'll be overflowing the pockets of the Condors with some gold there. Scrim trying to get out. Good flash away from the Hex Tech grenade or whatever you want to call it, the stun bomb. And overall, successful play for Condors. Rift Herald also gets dropped bot with Scrim being about 350 HP. He is in dive range, we'll say. Condors can actually make a dive happen there as well. Luckily enough, Scrim backs away. Condors are not feeling greedy, which is good to see. They're just racking up the plates. I think getting 4 tower plates here as well, or just about, but they wisely back off there as Diego comes for the reinforcements. They get the Infernal Dragon. They're up about 5,000 gold right now, and this game really is coming up Condors from start to finish right now. And this is a very, very good look for the Condors right now. They usually don't come out of the gate hot, but having early lead means that their mid and late game ability is elevated that much quicker. Okay, maybe not elevated that much quicker. It comes online quicker, and which means that where they're strongest happens sooner. And if it happens sooner, it applies more pressure to the enemy team. Which means that I think Waterloo right now, they're on a bit of a clock. They do have absolutely fantastic scaling as a competition, but you can't really scale if you're dead or if you've lost the game. So Waterloo need to stall out the game some way, somehow, if they want to actually reach those scaling points. Warren is level 10. I don't think he gets his first item until level 13, but Lopatinski here looking for Plex. Has the Cyclone available now, gets the knock up onto the Cassiopeia. The snake is airbound. And Become Decker does use the ultimate just to make sure the cast goes down. That's not a cat. A cast. Yeah, now I'm thinking of Animal Line. But either way, Cassiopeia, dead and gone. Become Decker, 1-1-5. You know, has a 50% kill participation, which is pretty nice. Now, Sapphire is going on to Slayers here. Great flash out of Slayers, but he misses the corrupting chain to lock it down. Still gets the kill there anyways. And so, 4-0-6 there is sitting pretty right now, I would say. And Eternity, you know, the camera just wants to show our top laner some love. The man has a great mustache. I've seen it in person. It's absolutely fantastic. His style, you know, he kind of just walks straight out of the 80s. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Also reminds me a little bit of Ned Flanders. And who doesn't love when Ned Flanders is on screen? So, Eternity just keeps drawing the camera aggro as we expect something to happen. Slightly good react flash, but I think he's in a little bit of trouble there. But he actually baits in the Karma kill. And whoo! Great heads up play by Slightly there. Also gets the flash out of Karma there, who flashed aggressively for that play. So definitely a great reactionary play coming out of Slightly. And now Plex trying to get some chip damage on Become Decker. Maybe look for the dive there. Doesn't have the Petrifying Gaze available, so a dive would be pretty suspect there anyways, especially without flash. So overall, Condors looking 14-3 in terms of kills. Nearly a 6k gold lead at this point in the game, and Eternity, I would say, could potentially 1v2 in this situation with a finished Rift Maker there. And Condors just setting up blistering pace throughout this game. They haven't knocked down any towers yet, but their goal, I would say, is pretty monstrous right now. If you're averaging about a 500 gold lead per minute, I would say you're winning the game. If you're at 1,000 gold per minute, you've won the game. So now Become Decker has already rotated bottom, and there's 3 bottom out of Waterloo, which means that the next Rift Herald, basically at this point, is being given to Conestoga. Conestoga just get it. We see 4 Condors already in that upper river there, setting up for it. And where's Waterloo? You have Regretful Angel on top. You have Senpai Cheese coming up through bot jungle. Plex just got the mid lane. They do give over first tower, and Become Decker will drop here, unfortunately. He just couldn't quite clear the wave quick enough, and also survive the poke that was being put out. But that still means that Conestoga have Prio over the Rift Tower. He's still looking at full health. He probably needs to buy right now, which is true. He's sitting on 1300, but probably going to be able to get this top tower too. And slightly has also now rotated Rift. So priority on Rift, priority top lane. Condors will restore their 6,000 gold here pretty quickly, I would imagine. And one thing I haven't mentioned is that Slightly was one of the first people to pick up Heimerdinger last year when it was popular with Ashe. And so he's been playing the Heimerdinger for quite a while now. He's very comfortable on it. And the part of the joke on the team is that he can play anything, anywhere. He's a very versatile player with his champion pool. Dare I say Ocean? Yeah, I would say Ocean. He has a champion Ocean, which means he can pull out plays like that. He's very comfortable on it. He's also swapped from top to bot, so he's familiar with different roles, how to play the game, how to carry a game solo as well, being in an isolated position. So, next dragon, it is the Mountain Dragon, the Mountain Soul, and Condors are once more, I would say, playing UK here. But Slightly gets caught out, but a huge fight from Condors gets up to knock up. Karma is dead. Plex is the next one being targeted, but now Senpai Cheese is in the backline. Slayer stays alive. Regretful Angel, I thought, went in there, but it turns out it was someone else. And now it's the Condors. They got 3 low health members there, but they have killed 2 on the side of Waterloo. But they need to get Plex. If they get Plex, they can definitely win this fight. Now the ult comes down from Become Decker. They get the Ornn. The cast goes down as well, and now it's up for Ezreal to try and get out of it, but he just couldn't do anything. And I have to say, the Condors, they are eating well. They got some steak fillets, some goat chops there as well. Or is it ram? Is Ornn a goat or a ram? Okay, next question is, what's the difference between a goat and a ram in the first place? Is it just something? I guess, goat specifics aside, Conestoga, they win that fight pretty handily, and the Conqueror damage coming out from Cassiopeia, the same, just wasn't quite there. It's still fairly early in the game right now, but as I was mentioning, Conestoga, they're hitting their strong points sooner than expected, especially with a strong early game. Lobachinski's sitting 10-1-4 right now at 19 kills. That's some excellent kill participation. No, I'm not going to try and do that math, but I want to say it's close to 75%, which is a staggering amount, especially for a jungler. It means you're everywhere right now. The only person with more is Slayers at 15. So, despite the bot lane being pinched super heavily in draft, somehow, Slayer, Conestoga, they're finding ways to win. And that bodes so well for the mentality of the team. For feeling it's like, hey, we just got pinched, I'm still popping off, I'm feeling good about today's series, I'm feeling good in general, nothing can beat us. And having that mentality definitely helps push you above, helps get you towards the win. And you know what also helps get you the win? Baron. Baron is up in about 50 seconds right now, which means that I'm expecting resets to come out, vision to be moved topside, and a little bit more priority on mid. Get that mid lane shoved out, get your sides also shoved out. They're not as crucial, but if you can get them pushing when you go to make a Baron play, it means that A, the enemy team has to respond to it, or B, they're getting chip damage onto objectives and you can just wait it out, buy time. And because minions will eventually knock over a tower. It may take longer if they're not super, but they can still do it. And we do see that Eternity and Lopachinski, they're invading for that blue buff. They're going to get the scuttle. They will have priority around Baron at the very least. Now, Regretful Angel, he's going to drop the ward. It'll be cleared out. And just once more, we see that Conestoga playing for Vision there. Now, Become Decker isn't out on the map yet. He does have TP available. I expect him to go bot, push that out, matching Cassiopeia's push out of Plex 1, 2, 3 there. But really, Conestoga, they have all the cards in their hand that they can choose to play how they want it. They can wait 2 minutes, 20 seconds for the next Dragon to spawn, give it up, and take Baron instead. Or they can take Dragon, get Soul, and then look to force a fight afterwards, if not beforehand. Because there is 0% chance that the side of Waterloo Black will give up the Forest Dragon without contesting. If they actually give that up without contesting, it means that they lost the fight early enough before it spawned that they can't get there in time, which usually is about the 30-second mark. Once you have tier 2 boost, it drops down to about 20 seconds to run from the fountain to a neutral objective. So, it's a coin flip. Or, as I was saying, a pickup card. Condors can just pick any card they want to play right now and probably find success with it. Another thing with I'll say a quasi-fed Heimendinger is that you can use the turrets there to tank Baron aggro, which means that you could probably 2-man Baron at this point. Now, it is a support Heimendinger, so the damage won't be coming there from Heimer, but we're sitting at a 3-item Wukong right now, and that is massive. He has Divine Thunder, he has Death Dance, Black Cleaver. He has enough shred and anti-tank damage that he will be just fine. Now, Forest Dragon, minute out. Definitely looks like Conestoga is waiting for that objective to be the card that they play. They're playing for priority in mid and bot right now. Lopachinski's looking for a gank on Cassiopeia, but that Cass is backed up and now slightly forced to flash out, but in overflow, taking a little bit of damage there from Tower. Scrim throws out the ultimate there, but ultimately doesn't find anyone. Now that is both summoners down on 80 where it's just the flash on the support. So definitely a summoner's advantage now for Conestoga. We see the pings around Dragon. Conestoga with priority. Condors, they're circling it, and now they're looking for overflow who has to flash. So that's another summoner down just for the clone coming out of Lopachinski. So great ability usage there to get a high value summoner spell out of the support. And so, Conestoga, if they lose this game, they threw it. They threw it hard. That's how confident I am right now that Conestoga will win this game. And I haven't heard any cheering in a while, so maybe that is the case. I'm hoping that I don't sense things in the past to affect the future. We'll see. But Fourth Dragon is started up. So instead of taking the fight like they normally do, they actually do take the fight, as I was saying. And the Cyclone knocks up 3, Plex is down, it overflows down. Actually, Plex manages to flash out and stay alive. But the EA goes down. There's no cheese left to be seen in the river. River cheese sounds god-awful, but I'm sure the Condors are feasting on it here today. Now Lopachinski goes in onto Scrim once more, and his single Q, his single, what is it, concussive blows or whatever it is, does so much damage. He chunks nearly a quarter of Scrim's health there with a single ability usage. And that just shows how far he is. He picked up another kill that fight. And overall, Condors, well played. They started the Dragon, brought Waterloo into them, and then engaged on them when they were in range. And it was a 3-man Cyclone that really set up that play. So Lopachinski on this Wukong, by and far carrying this game's performance, I'll say. It's about 7,500 gold lead right now. Definitely slowed down in terms of gold lead growth. But now Conestoga, with the Mountain Soul, can look to aggress on the Baron here, and they should be able to do it once all members are there. Now that is already the ult drawn out from Ezreal there. And Condors, they're still healthy. They have that shield to tank some of that initial poke damage, while the side of Waterloo just does not have that yet. They're still squishy. Orin, Cass, they're the two tankiest members, and right now they get shredded. Orin is only level 14. He hasn't been able to give anyone else an upgraded Orin item yet either. And so Lopachinski, followed by the rest of the Condors, are able to push into this upper river here and clear it out. They haven't actually spotted out that ward yet, just outside of Baron Pit. But I think as strong as they are, they just do it regardless. They may look to turn for the fight here. They are actually looking on Flash. Flash drop low, becomes Decker. Oh, the split focus there, and Cheese gets the Baron. And now Waterloo just has to run. If Waterloo just run for it, that was 100% a game-saving play right now. Because they got the Baron and didn't lose a single person. But Conestoga, with a couple minions alive, they are looking to push for a mid-tier 2 turret just to get something. And with all 5 members there, they should be able to shred it pretty quickly. They will have to back off. But Waterloo, they're now able to stall out this game for just a little bit longer now. They're still down a significant amount of gold, don't get me wrong. They're not in the lead, they're not suddenly going to come back. But that Baron steal and then not giving over any kills was something that they needed to stabilize the game in their favor. And once you can stabilize the game, then you can look at how to come back into it. So Conestoga, they gotta be careful now. They can't give any more momentum over to Waterloo. And Waterloo, with Baron, they're looking to push here. They get the mid T1 tower, now open up the map just a little bit more. They're still down in towers overall. Lopachinski here, he's looking for 3, finds 2 with the Cyclone, but Flex is there on the side. Condors are collapsing. Lopachinski there with great Zanyas. Grim gets caught out. And so they do get a pick there, slowing the rotation out of Waterloo, making sure that they can't get any other objectives off of that play. You know, I just gotta take a sip of water because, you know, the Condors, they're hungry, they're thirsty for this win, and it's rubbing off on me, so make sure you take a drink at home, stay hydrated. Okay, so now that we have, I'd say, a bit of a game state pause, I don't know if there's pause, plateau. We haven't really progressed anywhere for the moment. So looking at objectives, we see the good old Elder Dragon spawning in about 220, which will be the next objective to spawn on the map, and an objective that neither team can afford to give over. Because now Cassiopeia is 15, Orin is 16 as well, so he will be given out the upgraded Orin items sooner rather than later. He has actually upgraded Karma's item, which is surprising. That's not the first item I would have seen upgraded. But then again, Ezreal going a blue build hasn't actually bought a mythic item yet, despite being 3 items deep. So, a bit surprising. And if we actually look at the overgold, Ezreal, despite having fewer kills, is up in gold. And that's probably from the 50 CS lead that he's occurred over Slayers right now. Slayer's still doing great. 5-0 and 12, still looking good. Lopachinski though, 5k goal lead, and they're looking for a pick on Flex right now. But a good petrifying blade slows things down. Become Decker. Whoa, he had to pop that Seraph, which popped automatically, but it saved his life there. Now Scrim firing backwards, maybe looking for Become Decker there, not getting anything ultimately, and now has to flash away from Slayers there as he was looking to aggress onto Ezreal. Now Senpai Cheese, widely avoiding Lopachinski there, who's 2 levels up right now on the Monkey. The Monkey business is strong with this one right now. He is still spotted out on wards, so a little bit of waste of time. Goes over the wall, finds Senpai Cheese there. Doesn't have the Cyclone available, is going to get locked down here by the Karma. Senpai Cheese gets chunked so hard. Does force out the TP from Regretful Angel, and this does hopefully give Condors priority over this Dragon. We do see slightly rotating, or resetting, getting more wards, so then they can re-establish vision. And he'll also buy some mythic items, so a huge buy there coming out of Slightly. And Condors are still roughly 3 man strong, just outside the river. Definitely have prio on it. In overflow resets. And we have the TP still available on Eternity. So Condors, all they want to do is play it safe and just stand there in front of Dragon. Maybe start it up. Means Eternity will get this tier 2 top lane tower, but he's actually going to look to reset and then TP, actually straight TP into it. Conestoga opting for the Dragon itself. And this could be a very scary situation right now because they've had one objective stolen from them before. Slightly is already low, and there's a lot of healthy members on the side of Waterloo Black. But Waterloo Black maintaining their distance fairly well. Senpai Cheese looks to steal. Lopachinski goes, or that was Eternity goes in. And now they do get the Dragon. They do get the kill on in overflow. Senpai Cheese, taken into the Death Realm, does get burned down. Now Plex and Regretful Angel need to run for the hills, but Lopachinski, he knows how to swing through the jungle there to find his targets. And Regretful Angel, he can't get away there. The cast is able to slither to freedom. But Ornn, despite the flash there at the end, bud, you can't outrun death. It comes for us all eventually. And so, with the Elder buff, with a mid-wave pushing, Condors have the time to end it. 40 seconds on the Ornn, 30 on the Ezreal. Karma's about to respawn, and so they have a man advantage for a good while yet. And the Kugels actually take this inhibitor, rotate straight to Baron, and then with both the major buffs in the game, actually look to end it. Actually, all three major buffs. They have the Soul, they have the Elder, they will have Baron here in a moment. So there is virtually nothing standing in front of the Condors' way right now, except for a battered and Waterloo Black. I guess you can say that we've made them black and blue, especially after this game. So, 10k goal lead, give or take. Conestoga posed to win game 1 here in this best of 3 series. Mid inhibitors down. They can honestly just ARAM this and expect to win the fight. I don't think there's any way that Waterloo wins unless something is misplayed by Conestoga. So a misplay from Conestoga would look like Cassiopeia not being focused and able to free fire, taking too much poke damage from Scrim on this Ezreal beforehand, and then maybe letting Senpai Cheese get the reset with Heartbreaker enough times to snowball the fight in their favor, but that would come off of a series of misplays from the Condors. So hopefully, Condors, they play this one straight up, they get the minions pushing into base, they poke the enemy down, and then they look to dive effectively. But at this point, they can just almost one-shot towers slightly low. Already Zanya's there, bunch of chip damage, and it seems like Conestoga, they will have to back out here. Senpai Cheese trying to lock someone down already. Not going to work out. Miasma goes down. Eternity, he's burning. He's poisoned. And so far, okay. But Lopez goes in with a knockup onto. He's found Plex there. Plex nearly gets bursted by the monkey. The ult from Aurelion Soul puts in work as well, but it's not quite enough there. And it seems like the Elder buff has worn off. So the execution's not coming through that they needed. But they can still just focus down the towers. And now they just got to hit the inhibitor or the Nexus to end the game. And it's a bit of a split focus there. But at the end of the day, Conestoga Condors, they win game 1 here in a best-of-3 series against Waterloo Black. So overall, a bang-up job. And you know what? Because I missed it, or because you couldn't hear me, we'll actually quickly talk about the draft. So, the highlights of the draft was that bot lane was incredibly pinched here, with 5 champions being banned in the first round, which resulted in an early pickup of Varus, responded by the Ezreal, who's a relatively safe pick. But we saw there, despite him being able to put out poke damage, wasn't actually able to carry the game. Lopachinski was taken off of his, I would say, carry champion in the Xin Zhao and defaulted to the safe Wukong. And we just saw that despite it being monkey business, it's serious monkey business, actually. Then, comfort pick on the Aurelion Soul. Mordekaiser, Heimendinger, their comfort for the Condors. So, comfort was the word of the day so far for the Condors, where Waterloo, it's a strong draft. It's a scaling draft, and they fell behind early, which gave too much of an edge over to Condors. But overall, Cheese can't cheese because, well, that just fed the Condors early on. And Conestoga, they just need more of the same right now, I think. They need to force the adaptation out of Waterloo and just keep playing what they're good at. As long as their early game is solid, as like we just saw, they will have no problem in game 2, I suspect. But until then, we are going to throw it to a quick break, play some music, and reset for game 2. So, see you then. Okay, welcome back. We are already, yes, already into champ select for game 2. Now, I swear I did change the graphic, but the bands are exactly the same. Waterloo, Black saying the Wukong, that monkey business, perfectly fine. We will adapt to it. Which to me is a little shocking because generally, if someone has a carry performance like that on champion, you take that away unless you're just that egotistical that you think that you can overcome that through your own ability, which could entirely be the case right now. So, Waterloo, they've opted for the first pick, Cassiopeia, and Plex123 is a one-trick Cassiopeia, in my opinion. Has 130 games in solo queue, and next favorite champion, 50. So there's a huge discrepancy there in the amount of games played on a champion. So definitely Cassiopeia is his favorite. And so Condors, they go right back to picking up the Varus and Wukong. If it worked, why change it, right? And with the as hover, this is making me think that there could be a bit of a salty run back happening for Waterloo, saying, hey, we lost the early game because of cheese, whether that's the player or their actions, can be debatable. But it does mean that it could be just a straight run back saying, hey, we play the early game smarter, we win with this composition, and, we go to game 3. Waterloo, it's in their hands. And, okay, we do see the adaptation coming through. There was the Karma hover for a bit, but now it's the J4, the king. Or is he still Prince? Either way, he's royalty. He has the Damascene standard that he carries into battle there as well. And a fairly safe jungle pick to play. It's straightforward. You flag and drag in, you lock someone down with a Cataclysm, and then hopefully your team can do enough damage over top so they kill them before you die. But very meta champion, very safe. You see it in plenty of elos. It's a steadfast pick. However, he was recently nerfed. His W, his Golden Aegis, the shield, was a little too strong. So they brought that down back in line with a lot of his other abilities. And I would say his play percentage has seen a bit of a dip because of that as well. Generally, people just play the broken champions. Jarvan, always useful. There are definitely a few different build paths as well, whether it's lethality. I mean, you could go crit burst. No one really ever does it, but it's feasible. You could go drain tank with like a gore drinker, death stance, just build a lot of sustain into your kit. You could go full tank as well. All viable build paths. Usually tank works best at the higher levels because it's more consistent. Now, in terms of bans, for the second phase, we are actually seeing adaptations come through. Condors, they ban out the Ornn and the Karma. Waterloo Black, they've banned out the Thresh and the Heimerdinger. Definitely don't want to give Slightly any more of the Donger because he definitely knows how to wield it. So, that means we will see adaptations here from both teams in their draft selection because it's been forced to come out. They have to change it up if they want to be successful here. Now it's the Janna hover. We learn as casters not to talk about hovers because we often get baited by them. Now, things like early on, the potential run back, that's a fun thing to talk about there. But the Janna, definitely not meta, definitely a niche pick right now. So that is a suspicious hover there. Renata Glass, we still see plenty of because she's very strong. But there is a new support that does counter her, and that is Milio. You having that, I want to say the campfire there. Is it campfire? Either way, his ultimate there provides an AoE cleanse. It doesn't do a self cleanse, I think, but that's a huge cleanse for his team to get out of that hostile takeover. So potentially we could see Emilio pick here be the last counter pick here for blue, but we do see that Fiora top side actually, which is interesting because that is a very carry-oriented champion. It wants to win the sideline, it wants to push, but can also be a monster in the team fights if far enough ahead. Now to round out the picks for Waterloo, we do actually see the Lux, the Lightbringer, and that does mean we can potentially see the Shen out of Eternity. And now Eternity is very comfortable on this champion. He's played it a fair amount and uses it to climb to great success in solo queue. So he's comfortable on it, whether it's in a team setting or not. He knows how to play the side lane with it. And so Conestoga, I would definitely say priority, bot lane. Yeah, priority is definitely bot lane here for Conestoga. You want to play away from your global ult, so that way you can make the most use of it. You can play towards it, because Shen ahead can be oppressive, just like a Fiora from ahead can be. But generally, I'm going to say these two top laners are going to be left on the island alone again, and then they'll be going from there. But I think with a priority placed on Cassiopeia, that I'm going to say Waterloo, they have to play towards that mid priority. They have to get Plex 1, 2, 3 into a position where they can actually carry a game on the Cassiopeia, especially if they're willing to first pick it on blue side before he gets banned away in the later part of the draft. That shows a huge amount of faith, huge amount of potential. And so Conestoga, they can either shut down the Cassiopeia, look at other areas ahead, or let it scale. And I definitely think that Condors want to avoid letting a Cassiopeia scale, because she can be an absolute nightmare. So, now that we've seen draft, this is normally when I would like to ask my co-caster, if I had one, what do they think of these compositions? And so, when asking myself that, I want to say Condors, they're once more on comfort from top to bottom. It feels like Waterloo, they don't quite have the same amount of comfort this time around. Their champions are definitely on the easier end to play, so they should be just fine mechanically. As a composition, it feels a little awkward for Waterloo. You want to poke, you want to cut, you want long, drawn-out fights. And Fiora, she does want to poke, she does want to trade heavily, but ultimately she wants to dive in, she wants to get the target. Same with Jarvan, they want to dive in. So I want to say there's a bit of a disconnect there between their playstyles. Where Conestoga, I would say they're all on the same page here. Their draft wants to go in, they want to trade into a fight. You have the Wukong with the Cyclone that we saw get 3-man knockups before. Aurelian, so great AoE ult. Hostile takeover, need I say any more about a great offensive ultimate there. Varus as well has CC on his ultimate. So Conestoga have all the tools to win this game, I want to say. It just comes down to a matter of execution. Now they got, I'm going to say, lucky early in game 1, because Waterloo did make a few macro mistakes or decision-making mistakes where they gave over a lot of gold to Conestoga. So if they avoid those, it will be a closer game. But when it comes to win conditions, to playing as a team, I'm giving the edge to Conestoga right now. So despite what I initially thought at the start of the day, Conestoga, I'm actually favoring to win at 2-0 right now. They have a huge amount of momentum coming off of game 1. Their only real mistake was not focusing the Baron and letting Senpai Cheese, the Viego, steal it and then get out as well. I would say that was their only mistake. And that just comes down to a bit of a split call from whether fighting or baroning. But that can be easily rectified. So now, it's going to come down to game 2. So I'm going to throw it to a quick break right now. I want to make sure I drink plenty of water and refresh myself. But we will see, or you'll hear me once more as we get into the next game. So, see you on the other side of the spectator delay. and welcome back to Game 2 between Waterloo Black and Conestoga. You know, we made some changes. We swapped the overlay around at the top. I'm not messing around with the bottom images there. So, the top is at least correct now. That's the important part here. And speaking of top, well, Eternity has to flash out there from the tri-bush, but he gets off safe and sound at the end of the day. So Conestoga, with a game advantage right now in this best of 3 series, they have a defensive ward down by Raptors, so maybe Cheese does some more cheesing, but I don't think that will be the case because his team paid dearly for it last game. And interestingly enough, Senpai Cheese is running Ghost on Jarvan. That is definitely not a common summoner spell to see on a Jarvan. Usually you run Flash so that way you can have an extended engage. You Flash, Flag and Drag, or Flash Alt. It just gives you that much more engage potential. Where if you have the Ghost, you can run a little faster. It may pay dividends, it may not. I'm not sure yet. So we'll have to see how this plays out just to make sure. But right now, both junglers once more starting on opposite sides. Lobaczynski playing it safe, not wanting his red buff to be stolen again, so he starts it. And this time, Senpai Cheese, he's going to flag and drag over the dragon wall and run straight to the blue buff there. And I guess he's living up to his name, Cheese. Interesting decision making for sure. We saw it backfire. It looks like it will pay off this time as Slayers gets caught by a bind there. And trades a little bit of damage. Both lanes trading heavily so far. And Jarvan, you have to be careful of an early gank. He is going to be able to find a gank here in bot lane because Condors are pushing up. There's the Ghost running. Slightly has to flash. They flag and drag under tower, but he gets chunked pretty hard. But it doesn't matter as there's enough damage coming out of the Condors. Or not, sorry. Out of Waterloo there. Enough damage coming out of Waterloo to find the kill and get out before the tower got the return kill. Definitely not an ideal situation there for the Condors, but that is something you have to be aware of with the Jarvan. And unfortunately, they weren't giving that respect, I would say, or that potential. They do, to their credit, have a ward in the tri-bush, which wouldn't be the normal path that Jarvan takes to gank that. But altering his path to go for the steal over the wall is ultimately what provided Senpai Cheese with that opportunity. So, I have to say, Senpai Cheese, despite opting for the cheeses early on, his unique pathing is providing opportunities. They just seem a little bit coin flippy at the moment to me. But overall, it's an opportunity, getting advantages, and now Eternity, without his flash from the level 1 invade, can't find the kill onto Regretful Angel, but that does secure lane prio for him as well. And Jarvan, he's hovering topside right now, looking for that scuttle, and definitely down in jungle tempo as it looks like Lobaczynski has managed to full clear, bar the blue buff, and now slightly showing mid, getting a little bit of pressure there. Eternity knows that Jarvan is top lane, so he plays it smart, plays it safe, takes a step back. Now in overflow, clearing out some vision there. And overall, it's Waterloo Black with the early game lead. And I'm thinking to myself right now is that they won themselves that lead. They didn't rely on mistakes, but there could be a simple mistake there. As Eternity, he's looking for a kill on Regretful Angel, but can't quite find anything. A bind on slightly trades a bunch of damage. He gets dropped to about a third. Senpai Cheese has to get over the wall, not having a good buy there compared to the Sheen from Lobaczynski. Now becomes Decker. He's still in full World of Hurt. He isn't quite finding a way to win in mid lane right now. And Slayer is taking a good chunk of damage. The poke coming out of this Waterloo bot lane is massive. And I would say everyone is more frequent than the prior game because Lux has better poke than Karma. Karma's poke is absolutely massive if you do a mantra Q. But Lux can poke with 2 abilities. Karma can only poke with 1 at the end of the day. So, more poke means more chip damage, more chip damage means more lane pressure, and we are seeing that as Scrim is already up about 15 CS, and now the training going to regretful position here. It's going to be a close one. Still doesn't quite have flash up, so he can't actually follow through for these kills. Now slightly he pulls an overflow, and the tower damage is there. There's a return kill, great pickup by Slayers, and slightly playing on the edge of that tower range there. And now Scrim has to back up as Slayer keeps marching forward. We do actually see Lopachinski start up the Dragon now that they have priority in the bot lane as well. I'm going to say this is a bit of a risky Dragon as Jarvan is there as well. Your bot lane's low on HP, but if they rotate up successfully, it's actually going to be stuff like he's looking for kill there. He is on the slightly. The Ghost actually paying dividends at this point. And now Lopachinski, he's going on to Jarvan there. He will have his flag drag up soon, and there he goes out with the Ghost. And so yes, I was 100% about it. I was not expecting the Ghost to work, but it does. And then Lopachinski trying to clear out the wards, gets caught by overflow, returns to the lane. Eternity is coming through with the ultimate there. The Staying United finds the kill onto the Jarvan there. And now Eternity's strong enough that he's looking for a kill on the Scrim. Flash for flash. He's trying to find a way, but doesn't quite have the damage. One auto, two slow. And so Scrim comes up huge there, finding 2 kills. In overflow, 2 kills. All action is happening bot lane right now, and it's going to be a 2.5 that's gold lead for Waterloo. And this is what I mean. Conestoga used to having rough early games. So game 1 there was a bit of an oddity, and I thought they were playing well. But it turns out Waterloo was beating themselves. And now Conestoga, they got some work ahead of them if they want to get back into this game and win. It is going to be Waterloo making the first move towards Dragon potentially. They know Lopachinski started topside. They know he's on his red buff. And so Dragon will go over to Waterloo right now. And then a potential blue buff invade as well. Lopachinski not the wiser, or just feels like he can't contest anything right now until it's level 6. But waiting for level 6, waiting for your power spikes, does give priority to the other team. Does give the other team time to get ahead, to stay ahead, which can be a dangerous gambit to play. Now, I fully believe that the Condors will be able to come back from any deficit that they incur early. It's just going to be a matter of how hard are they going to be on themselves with an current deficit. Now, the fight too, he's just base tanking the comebacker right now. They trade about equally there, but generally that's not something you want to be doing as a Jarvan, because that gives priority to Lopachinski right now. He has the health bandage, has the Cyclone available, has Flash, and Flex. He's going to be the target here. The Cyclone doesn't quite reach. Gravity field is pulling him back in. Flex is getting a bunch of damage down and just can't quite get away of the gravity or black hole placed down by the Aurelian Soul. And when you're just getting sucked back in, when you don't have boost for the increased boost speed to get out of that, that is a deadly ability. And so the pickup on Flex is absolutely massive. Now slightly pulls Scrim underneath the tower, and that will be a kill there. Great pickup by the Condors bot lane as they also get that shut down as well. So, Conestoga finding ways to fight back into this. Eternity still doing well on top, down a significant amount of CS, but that is also because he had to ult away from his lane. And that is one of the detriments of playing Shen, is that you often give up a fair amount of CS when you have to use your ult. That said, his CS is still okay. He's only lost a single tower plate right now. And overall, game's in a fairly even state. Except the neutral objectives are going in favor of Waterloo. We see Jarvan, we see Cassiopeia already onto Red Peril, and it just drops like that. Definitely, the timers are working in Waterloo's favor. And honestly, the mobility coming out of Jarvan, who now has the magical footwear as well for the increased movement speed, is playing a key factor in it, 100%. He's able to rotate around the map faster, clear his camps, get his ganks, and get the neutrals from the pressure he's creating for himself. So I was 100% a doubter of the Ghost Dragon. I see its benefits right now, especially using it to get into a fight and to run down opponents that generally don't have escapes anyways, like a Varus or Renata. Flash, I would still say this is more beneficial in both of these cases, but in this game right now, 100% think Ghost is getting its value. So slightly gets bursted, gone, dusted, snapped. Now Slayers, he's looking for Scrim here. Great flash. Can't quite find the damage to finish it as Lopatinski had walked away from the lane as well. So, slightly gets caught by CC and insta-give there. Slayers bites off more than shoot, burning both summoners for I would say both the offensive summoners coming out of bot lane of Waterloo there, the heal and the event. But losing your flash on a Varus is definitely significant because you don't have any other escapes. Now, Conestoga down. More mental math here. Needs to find ways to stabilize it. Baron isn't going to spawn for another 8 minutes, so they need to find another way to stabilize this game right now. They're looking to draw Rift to get that pressure, but in overflow, people look for something else there, but have to flash. It gets knocked up here. Journey comes through with the same 90, gets the taunt on too. That will be a dead cat Yoshida, but the final spark comes out and lights up the ninja. So, Senpai Cheese runs out with the Ghost, using it defensively there. So ultimately, a 1-for-1 trade, but Conestoga by a little bit of pressure and time back to themselves. They did get multiple summoners there out of Waterloo, that being the Lux Flash, the Cassiopeia Flash, the Jarvan Ghost, and so was Dragon up in 30 seconds. That's fairly critical, I would say, if they're looking for potential fight, but they did all burn a lot of ultimates there. And now Regretful Angel, Eternity, this top lane is going to start heavily going in favor of Fiora now that she's finished her Divine Sunder. It's hard to withstand that amount of hit damage, especially with Frost. And we can see Eternity, despite that lane, is coming up pretty massively right now, and is going to have a harder time CSing and stabilizing this lane. Lopatinski not having a counter in this game means that he's also struggling. Conestoga, great vision around Dragon, means absolutely nothing. You can't defend it or make a play off of it. So Rift Herald is both top. I moved the mouse multiple times now. So, Rift Herald gets bottom tower, and it looks like it's going to be an Ocean Dragon going over to Waterloo right now as well. So, a near salty run back is working for Waterloo Black right now. They've realized that, hey, we threw the early game. If we just play our comp to our strengths, we can win it the way that it was intended. And Conestoga, I want to say at this point, are beating themselves more so than Waterloo is. They're making some mistakes. They're essentially overstaying, over-aggressive on plays. And Eternity does a fantastic job trading back there on Regretful Angel. But still, he's down 30 CS. There's a CS for both the other carries on the side of Waterloo. Not as big as the one at top, but still significant enough to matter. 15 CS is about a kill's worth of gold. Just as a rough rule of thumb there. So if you know you're down 15 CS, you're down a bit of gold. Use of gold, you can definitely see that the Ezreal sitting at 4-1-2 with the CS lead is close to 2,000 gold ahead of Varus. Even Lopatinski is down 700 gold on the Wukong. Surprisingly, mid lane is roughly dead even, but all the other lanes, all the other roles, they're behind in gold, they're down. And now we're starting to get into, I would say, scary territory for Conestoga right now. They're down 5k gold, we'll call it. And currently he's able to get out there, Senpai Cheese looking for a gank. But flex, looks for Slayers, doesn't get the petrifying gaze, and so Slayers will be able to just walk away from this one. Still has to use the heal, but doesn't give over any kill gold to the cast, which is good. That's at least something. Now Fiora's going to get the top tower here with that Devil Prop. And it looks like there's 3 Condors here trying to catch a snake, but with that bot tower still standing, that's not a dive they want to take, even with petrifying down. That means Become Decker is alone in mid lane, trying to soak CS and XP. Don't know how well it's working, and it seems like Condors, they're not clearing as much vision as they could, or at least not in the same pivotal locations that they need to if they're looking for these plays, looking for these rotations. I have to give credit where credit is due. Waterloo, they're doing a fantastic job of moving their vision and distracting Condors right now. We also see that one pink was hidden in the blue side jungle of Condors by Waterloo, and that is probably getting a fair amount of vision there and keeps the mid lane safe as well. And I'm going to say 100%, Condors do not realize that there is a ward there based on the locations of their pink ward. They think that they're safe, fine. Now step by Cheese. He's looking for a potential engage here. I don't think he was spotted out by that trinket there. It's going to be close either way. They haven't opened, so he's definitely not in vision of it. Is seen now, and that could have been a very dangerous situation for the Conestoga Condors there, because Rift Herald could drop, then it could be a tower taken. They engage and dive from the Jarvan, and we look at 2 dead Condors. Fortunately, it doesn't come to fruition. Condors dodge that dangerous situation for the time being. And right now, they're not... I don't know if they've quite stabilized the game as there's no objectives to take, but they don't have map priority anywhere, so they can't really contest either. It is the Hextech Soul, so Waterloo with priority can move around the map that much faster, can reset and get back to pushing a lane that much faster. And when that happens, being on the back foot, it feels even worse because it takes longer to lane, and you have smaller and smaller windows to push the objective. And the less time you have on objective means the less likely you are to take that objective. So Waterloo finding ways to snowball here, up 6,000 gold, so they're definitely still finding ways to incur a golden. Now Eternity, if he keeps away from this tower, will 100% lose this tower. Regretful Angel just wants to sit here in the side lane. He wants to make sure that if Eternity on the Shen leaves it, will be in trouble. Now somebody sees Lobachinski finding each other, fighting over some vision, and now Overflow's gonna cast the Singularity there, the Lucent Singularity into that bush there to make sure no one's in it. But with the Reptile being dropped mid, Conestoga will have to answer that as well. Now Senpai Cheese finally dives into that bush to make sure that pink gets cleared out of it. Can't give over too much information. Now Slayers, he gets chunked hard by the Ezreal in mid. The Rift Herald crashes, mid tower should drop here, and Become Decker gets caught by a light binding. Senpai Cheese goes in, he's blocked down, knocked up, and knocked out. So the jungler for Waterloo gets picked, and they should be Cryo now on this dragon for Conestoga. Get one objective back in the face, get the gold bounty, get something for them. And Lux gets the steal. Lobachinski has Smite available, doesn't use it. And this means that in the top lane, Regretful Angel gets the T2 tower, hammers on the inhibitor tower. Oh. I'm not quite sure what to say right now. Because Conestoga, they got the pick that they needed. They killed Senpai Cheese. But once again, they lose the objective. And when you're already behind losing the objective, it just feels terrible. And Slayers has to heal his way out of that one. Slightly had the flash out. It was that close to being comboed. And while this Lux is support, she's still building AP. That's a Luden's Echo. And a whole lot of burst damage. Now Senpai Cheese goes in over Lobachinski. Lobachinski has the flash of a catapult. Great dodge there. that will give Prio over to Waterloo for Baron. With Baron on the play, I think we're at the point of the game where Waterloo can take the Baron and win the game off of the Baron. They're about 7,000 gold lead ahead right now. We're seeing that Come Decker can't even clear away a bot tower. And so it's just a lot of unfortunate series of events for Condors right now. Become Decker's trying to run away from Fiora. The Fiora, Regretful Angel, just chasing down the dragon, looking for a pretty hide, for a pretty pelt. And luckily, the T2 tower is still standing bot, so Become Decker manages to get to safety. But that means Baron goes over to Waterloo, and that's at least the 1,000 gold into Waterloo's pocket. They get a great buy. Looking at gold values overall, it's still surprisingly close in mid. Top is nearly a 3k difference. There's what, 2.5k gold difference in ADCs. Supports are another 2k gold difference. Even jungle, you're starting to look at 1.3, 1.4. So Conestoga, they're feeling the pressure across the map right now. They don't have a single lane that's winning that they can really rally behind. The Come Decker is the closest thing you have right now. He's only at 2 items. Slightly just gets picked there. He hasn't had his blue suede shoes on. He hasn't been dodging as he should be. So it's definitely a lot of unfortunate events here for Conestoga. And we see that Regretful Angel is far enough ahead that he can walk up. Oh, he gets caught up here as well. The clone, the Standing United comes through. And using it to save your jungler is all fine and dandy, but actually you can't use it aggressively, which is part of the charm of it. And Jarvan gets the kill there. Goes ham on the Slayers. Goes to Topsy, just running out. But Overflow on this Lux is getting so much value with the ult combos. The final spark is really providing the spark that Waterloo needs to get into the series. And now Regretful Angel fighting Lopatinsky should drop here, but actually manages to get out. The hostile takeover lands on two. Come Decker has the bailout, but it doesn't matter as Waterloo is rampaging ahead right now. And with Baron, with Inhibitor Tower 1 down, with Inhibitor mid down as well. Waterloo, they look to end the game here in quick and orderly fashion. Get the ace and just start playing the reverse of Bob the Builder right now as the Nexus towers drop. Eternity drops one last time, and now the Nexus drops once more in this best of 3 series for semifinals. I'm going to say, a bit surprised with how this game developed, but also I'm not really surprised either. I knew Waterloo was a strong school. I drank the game 1 Kool-Aid. I really hopped on the Condors hype train there and became a bit biased. But Waterloo providing a sound reminder there that they are still a very competitive team, and they are proving why they finished, I believe, 2nd in the regular season standings anyways. They are a competitive team. They are a strong team. They can easily win this entire division here as well. So Condors, they really got to shore up their early game. They got to be aware of Senpai Cheese's unique and alternate pathing and just shore that up. Otherwise, I think they're doing an okay job. One too many things went in favor of Waterloo game 2, just as how one too many things went in favor of Condors in game 1. Both these teams are fighting this series out to the last breath. They are going to throw everything they have at it. And so for game 3, I'm curious to see what they have in the tank to really come out when all cards are down, when all chips are down, because there's no point saving something now if you get eliminated. What will they bring out? And so we'll find out, but right now I'm going to throw it to a quick break as we get ready for game 3 draft. So see you on the other side. well, these two teams are eager. They barely gave me enough time to have some more water to refresh myself before we get into game 3. Now, there are some changes already happening right now. We see that Conestoga, they have opted for blue side here in the pivotal game 3, which forces Waterloo on black. Now, Waterloo, they are keeping their bans the same, where Conestoga, they have opted to ban out the Jarvan. They've made a change, which is good to see. The early pathing there out of Jarvan definitely threw a few wrenches in Condors' plans, so removing that champion makes sense. We see the ADCs going right back to what they have been. And honestly, that's perfectly fine by me. I wouldn't say either ADC needs a change up right now, especially with 4 bans towards the bot lane in total there. 3 on ADC anyways. So Slayers, I think he needs to pick his moments a little bit better. We saw in game 2 that he did have an interesting play after he slightly died and Lopachinski walked away from a gank, that he decided to opt in. And now, to throw another wrench into things, we see that Waterloo have opted for the Wukong, doing some monkey business of their own, where that is a Lux. Now, Lux is an interesting champion for Conestoga because Become Decker has had target bans on Lux against him as well. But I also know Slightly is quite capable on the champion too. So maybe, just maybe, this is a flex pick. And so we don't actually know where it's going yet, which provides some advantage to Conestoga right now. And as I say that, they give away that advantage by locking in the Heimendinger. So that will be a mid lane Lux, support Heimendinger. I don't think the Condors are crazy enough to actually reverse that. Yeah, no. Lux mid, Heimer support. This does give the options now over to Waterloo Black to see what they can counterpick, because they can counterpick mid, they can counter support, but they opt in for the Fiora top, throwing down that gauntlet once more. And Regretful Angel, honestly, I'm going to say didn't do anything special that game. It was just steady, solid Fiora performance there, and it is what you expected it to be. Gets a lead in the side lane, gets Divine Sunderer, abuses tanks, and wants the split push. And that split push bought a lot of pressure for Waterloo Black. So, overall, fairly standard pick, I would say. It was expected, especially after game 2. And this means that Conestoga, they now, in the second ban phase, they ban out the Cassiopeia, while Waterloo has targeted Lopachinski. They've taken away the Lilia and the Vi. I don't think Lopachinski is a Lilia player. He brought it out on stage last week. It didn't go so well. Vi is definitely a much more of a staple in his champion pool that he can pull out. And we actually see the Ahri now for Plex 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's no way it's a flex, but it's for Plex. And I'm going to say it's not that complex. I could keep going, but I won't. So, Conestoga. On blue 4 and blue 5, they now have to show their jungler and top. Fortunately, they can counter top and jungle here. So, ultimately, it's not too bad, as Waterloo saved counter pick for support, even though they already knew what the support was. Which I find is a little interesting. So maybe Condors win the draft phase here, and we see the Viego go over to Lopachinski there. Definitely has had some pop-off performances with it. Is a bit of a carry-oriented jungler. And the champion can match that playstyle. We saw Senpai Cheese play it. It didn't go fantastic, but, that was also off a bad invade there. And we do see Eternity back on the Shen. And to be fair, Eternity did well on the Shen until the Divine Sunderer came through Fiora, till he had to start ulting away from lane and gave up XP and the lead that he was actually incurring. But as I said, the dangerous thing about hovers is that they're hovers and not actually locked in. So the actual pick there is Poppy. Now, the Steadfast Presence is a counter to so many of the champions that Waterloo has picked up. You counter the dash out of Wukong, out of the Fiora, out of the Ahri, and I think it even blocks the Arcane Shift out of Ez, even though that's a blink. I think it still is coded as a dash. And then Senna just doesn't have one, so yeah. But Poppy, great tank, plenty of damage, plenty of CC potential as well, and can also help in securing objectives by knocking the enemy team away, similar to what a Mordekaiser could do. And honestly, I feel like this could be the better pick right now for Eternity. So I'm excited to see it. Now, in terms of win conditions, it's a little perplexing, actually, to know what both these teams want to play towards. Conestoga, they have plenty of poke and chip damage, and I would say counter dive with the Poppy, with the Heimer turrets. Engage could be a little lacking, but if you have enough CC to set up a pick, that's all you need, which you definitely have coming from a Lux, Varus, Heimer. Even a Poppy can be great at setting up picks. So yeah, so Condors, they want to poke, they want to take fights slowly, play at range, space correctly, and that will be the thing we have to watch is, can Condor space? Can they kite? Can they play at the edge of their range and win out? We're looking at Waterloo. They have plenty of poke champs in their lineup. You have the Ez, Senna, Ahri. They're also a highly mobile team with the amount of dashes that they have. And they scale fairly well, but Ahri doesn't feel like a scaling mid laner. As we saw struggle in game 1, game 2 got ahead and didn't have an issue there. Senna is what I call an affinity stacker, just never stops stacking. So it's going to be a bit interesting there to see what happens in terms of the Waterloo draft at the end of the day. And yeah, Wukong isn't a dedicated frontliner, but with the sustain coming out from Senna, there may be enough heals and potential shields to keep the Wukong alive, so he could be a dedicated frontliner. I think it'll still be tough overall for Waterloo to play a traditional team fight, which is kind of what Conestoga is looking for. They have the dedicated frontliner in the Poppy, and Fiora still wants to split push. So, my oh my. You know what? I'm going to throw it out to chat, to the viewers. Who do you think is going to win Game 3? Because for me, it's a coin flip. I haven't flipped the coin yet, and it's going to be flipped during the match, but it's a coin flip. So let's see it in chat. Who wins Game 3? And with that, I'm going to throw it to a break while we set up the pivotal Game 3 to see who advances to the NECC Finals here. So, we'll see you on the other side of this break as we set it up. So, grab a drink, grab a snack as we get ready for Game 3. And welcome back here for the final game of this NECC semifinals of the Champion Great Lakes Division. Now, we are hopping into it in a minute because the game crashed. You know, small indie company that Riot Games is. There's bound to be some bugs, of course, tonight. But we persevere. It's not being the longest delay, and I bet you wouldn't even notice if I didn't say it. But either way, we're coming in to it a minute later than I would have liked. So there's been some poking, some prodding that these two teams have already done. But for the most part, it's what we expected to happen. Some trading, some poking, some prodding, some advantages. Now, if I'm seeing correctly, this is also a third different start coming out of Senpai Cheese here, as he's opting for a straight clear on the Wukong right now. Both junglers starting on the same side of the map. So, the change-ups continue slightly on the Heimerdinger, getting a bunch of chip damage on the Int Overflow, who's down to 200 HP, and could potentially be in execute range here shortly. Now, we do see Scrim running first strike, trying to stack up that gold as much as he can. And Senpai Cheese, rebuff gank in the mid, becomes Decker. He's potentially dangerous. Great flash, great dodge there on the charm. And he will stay safe and trade flashes with Flex. And with Flex taking a power shot there, it's actually going to become Decker who comes out with the health advantage. But Senpai Cheese is hovering around here for a return gank now that Become Decker doesn't have a flash. But Eternity winning the top lane matchup so far. Senpai Cheese goes mid and looks to push in that mid wing. And I can hear the players cheering, so 3-4 minutes in the future, there could be some spicy action, but we'll find out when we get there. Slightly eating the... Oh, okay. Wow, they are really pumped up out there. I'm worried now. I'm actually worried. What could get them so pumped up here? Yeah. I'm not going to say what they're saying. If you can hear what they're saying, then maybe I should make this stream for mature audiences only. But that's besides the point right now, is we're focused on the present of what we can see. And what we can see right now is that Slayers and Slightly, they're trading mana for health, basically. Int Overflow can heal them up, but that is costing mana as well. But generally, that's how you have to do it. You have to keep Senna using her Q there to actually heal up. If you're using to send a Q to poke the trade, you're going to start winning your lane. And Regretful Angel maybe biting off more than she can chew there on the Trinity's Poppy. But Senpai Cheese is hovering top, so ultimately you're feeling pretty safe at the moment, despite being lower HP overall. And Lobachinski's looking for something bot lane, doesn't quite find it, and is opting for the blue scuttle. Got the top scuttle as well, so definitely ahead in jungle tempo and pathing right now. So overall, not too bad, not too shabby. Condors, in the first 5 minutes, we have a stable first 5 minutes, which is absolutely beautiful to see. It's a thing of beauty. Even if we didn't see the first minute of it, it's still beautiful to see. Now, in Overflow and Scrim, probably looking back as well. But I think in Overflow's, you know, clearing out some turrets, getting a little bit of extra gold in her pocket. And as we can see, that little bit of extra gold does come in handy, as it's accumulated to roughly 100 gold lead for the support there. But I feel like it's closer than it has been. Russian Delicious. And 3 out of 5 members of Waterloo rush Machine. Fascinating. Now Become Decker going to get ulted on. Locks down Senpai Cheese, and that's a huge ult. Great damage. Lobachinski comes through to finish that kill. They trade 1 for 1. Now Eternity's aggressing on to the Regretful Angel, who's popped the challenge, the grand challenge, the ultimate there. Try and get something to happen top lane. Poppy just kind of walked away from that. None the worse for wear too. Has the corrupting pot to heal up there. Is also getting the shields from the buckler toss for that little bit of range as well. So Poppy doing quite well top lane right now, and we can see could potentially look for a kill there. Senpai Cheese is hovering top, and that's a big wave that Eternity wants to deny if possible. And woo! 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 Great solo kill there by Eternity, and with a 2-level lead, he could possibly take Senpai Cheese the distance as well, and he does! So there we go, folks. That's what we were hearing the players yell about there and get all uppity. Yes, I used uppity. Not ironically too. God, I'm old. But Eternity on this Poppy. Massive play top there in a 1v2 situation. Denies a double stacked wave to the Regretful Angel as well. And that's just start to finish a huge play for Conestoga. And that buys Lobachinski time to get the Hextech Dragon as well. And we have a Cloud Dragon coming up next, I believe. So overall, just huge heads-up play. And now Eternity, he's chunking Regretful Angel so hard and could look to... that he gets the kill. I was saying he may look for it, but no, he just straight up does it with the Buckler toss, and that will be another double stack wave denied to the Fiora. Poppy sitting on a massive amount of gold, already up 1,000 gold. Condors as a team is up 1,500. And right now, Conestoga, they're taking Waterloo to task in this early game. Senpai Cheese on the Wukong isn't finding ganks, and Become Decker's just playing it safe. He's playing it smart, forcing the overextension from Waterloo if they're looking for a mid-lane gank there. So Conestoga, they've come out swinging. They've come out flying. They're finding the opportunities they need, and right now, Conestoga has priority on the Rift Barrel. It's going to be dead before Waterloo can even look to contest it. Senpai Cheese, he gets to the pixel brush and just has to kind of walk away. Now, he's potentially looking for something here, as Become Decker is going to walk back to mid lane. Lobachinski's still there over the wall, and so if they go for this, that's potentially harmful, but Become Decker just flashes the tower, he's safe. Maybe they look for something. But I think they just let Senpai Cheese walk out. He blew his ult. He got the Lux Flash, so worthwhile. But with Become Decker playing safe, as is, it shouldn't be much of an issue. So, looking at game state, because things got very chaotic very quickly. As I say that, of course Slayer takes a huge trade there and loses. But Heimer and Lobachinski, they're coming back. They're coming back. They have the push there, and Lobachinski, he's going to miss. He's going to miss Scrim there. Now Inflow pops the shield. Lobachinski's a little too far up. Does get healed. And maybe Condors can scavenge this play, but ultimately it's going to be a 1-for-1 there. Then Overflow sitting in the alcove, and Slayer does flash to make sure he secures the kill slightly. Steps up forward. He's trading heavily onto Scrim, and it's a double kill for the Condors in the bot lane. They trade Lobachinski, but they still get the power plates, or not, as they look to reset the wave. But still, great. Overall, great play for Condors. They get all the summoners out of the Waterloo bot lane there, and they get map pressure. And that extends their gold lead. They're now at 3K. Eternity, he's taking a couple tower shots there, just proving that he can, because he's still up 1,000 gold in the top lane there. Now, Senpai Cheese, he's looking bot. He's spotted out before without one jungle ward, and now becomes Becker is also looking for this. Lobachinski back bot. They're looking for tier 1 tower here early, and this Rip Herald won't get the tower execute. But with 3 members of Condors there wailing on it, this tower will drop. And Senpai Cheese rotating down, or actually just sitting in river. Not sure what to do. Maybe taking a swim, maybe taking a shower, maybe going fishing. Nobody knows. But he was on vision nearly that entire time and got no value out of it. Where Conestoga, they made a proactive play with the repair. They went straight back bot where you know they don't have summoners to fight you, and they had to concede the tower. So that's a massive gold swing, and now we see Slayers up 1,000 gold. Heimer is up a few hundred gold. And what's more, Lobachinski up 1,000 gold. And honestly, and I'm saying and a lot, because there's so many things to say, because this game is just exciting. These teams just don't stop. But I feel that both these teams almost live or die by their jungler. Senpai Cheese first game. Cheese then lost the early game for Waterloo. Game 2, won it with a level 2 gang. Game 3 hasn't had an impact, so Waterloo struggles. Whereas Lobachinski, he's beaten steadier throughout the 3 games, but he's also a carry potential there. And becomes Decker with the final spark. Gets the Wukong who was trying to retreat, and that gives Dragon priority 100% over to Conestoga, and Waterloo should not contest this. Contesting this right now is just bad decision making. You're not going to get in there in time, and Eternity, oh no, he doesn't do that. That's just disgusting. Eternity, you can't be doing that, okay? Like, I don't think there's a mature enough setting for a stream to show that level of explicit content. You can't just do someone like that. Please tone it down, man. You're already well, you're 3-0 before, but now you're 4-0. Like, how badly do you need to do with Euro like that? Because that just has to stop. You just can't be doing that. But either way, fantastic play. Eternity stepping up to the plate. And I think it's okay for me to be speechless right now, because this Poppy, well, Eternity's put the pop in Poppy. He's popped off this game. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, just great job by Eternity. Whew. So, 2-level lead, 10 CS lead. The man is a monster. And Yordles, we all know, are the devil, one way or another. Teemo used to just be branded as the devil, but it's just all Yordles in general. And now Lobachinski here coming over the wall. They're looking for a Regretful Angel. They 100% will dive in. And he's down to about 150 HP there. I honestly, do they let him go? Nope, they don't. And they take him out from under tower. Lobachinski will get the reset with the Fiora body there, escaping any potential execution damage coming out of Senpai Cheese on Wukong. And so Condors played that excellently, waited out just long enough. Cyclone comes through, but it doesn't quite matter as Eternity is just too tanky. And so, Conestoga, they pick up 2 with the dive. Extended dive, but it's a dive nevertheless, and they pick up the tower itself. Whew. They are Bob the Builder, because yes, they can do it. Even if that does mean destroying things instead of building things. But that's a semantical argument that I will not entertain right now. Actually, you know what? Yes. Bob the Builder 100% works because Conestoga is building towards victory. There we go. There's the logic loop complete. Now in overflow, Washington just or slightly Heimerdinger, and he forces out the double summoners from the Senna. This Senna just does not seem to be getting any value right now. And for curiosity's sake, because we see the Rift Herald go down, the Senna sitting at a measly 52 souls right now. Generally, by 20 minutes, you want to be well over 100. Or at least close to it. So definitely not a good look right now. Regretful Angel, well, he tried to trace down a dragon last game. Now he's being chased down by a Yordle. And we see that the hammer time has come as Eternity is putting Regretful Angel to task in this top lane. And man, he's suddenly at 6 kills. So he got both those kills off the T2 or T1 tower dive there. And this game, 100% in favor of Conestoga now. I mean, what can possibly make this game more exciting? I don't know why I asked that. Because I know the answer. What can make this game more exciting? Well, Baron steals, Dragon steals, which would see Waterloo do both games. So now it's up to Conestoga to play it smart, play it cleanly, and make sure when they go for an objective, they have it secured and it cannot be stolen from them. It is going to be the Chemtech soul, so I think this is the 3rd unique soul we've had this series as well. And right now, Conestoga have 2 dragons. Next dragon's a minute out. They have priority in every lane by the looks of it. They have all their towers still standing. They also have the 2nd Rift Herald, which they're dropping in. They don't have a way to back it up, and I don't think they can get this tower with the Rift Herald. But with, we'll say, 800, 1000 HP lost on that tower, a single wave can knock it down. You can't just blow it over, but it's close enough that it could be paper mache at this point. Maybe not just straight paper, you know, a little bit of structure to it, a little bit of firmness. But overall, looks like he's fighting an overflow and gets the clap 1, dodges the snare with the ult. Heart Seeker there, sent by Cheese, will be the next target. The monkey, he's trapped in the river, he goes down, and Regretful Angel nearly dies again to Eternity. My man, he is running top lane right now. And Fiora, well, Fiora's running back to base, not even trying to recall. Because Poppy can run through towers with how far ahead Eternity is on this champion. 12-3 in terms of kills, roughly a 7k gold lead. And so everything is coming up Condors right now. Fiora, 0-4. Wukong, 0-5. Ezreal, 0-1. They have three carry champions, I would say, on the side of Waterloo with no kills. Your kills are on Plex and Setup. And yes, having kills on Ahri feels good. She's a quasi-mage assassin who can weave her way in and out of fights, getting damage across. But I would say her damage isn't sustained damage. It's more on the burst. And you have to wait for your cooldowns, where the likes of Fiora, Ez, Wukong, they want to trade. They will auto-attack. They will get more value out of that gold. And Setup goes the Umbral Glaive, which has been nerfed, and so definitely not getting as much value out of her kit as has been in the past. So really, it's just rough all around right now, and in Overflow gets taken to half HP by a single spell rotation coming out of Slightly's Heimerdinger. Cool. This game is definitely stretching my capacity for words. Because there's so many things I want to say. There's so many tangents I can go off of. But unfortunately, I am limited by the technology of my time, by the game in front of me, because this game will march forward. And I just need to keep up with it one way or another. We see finally mythics coming out now for the likes of Forgetful Angel and Senpai Cheese. Whereas Konosuga, they've had their mythics done. They're well on their way to a second item. Some even have that second item completed. We have 2 items for our ADC, 2 items for our top laner. This Poppy still has a CS lead and not giving Fiora an inch to breathe. And now, Baron is up in 10 seconds. We see Slightly and Lopachinski setting up a death push here, and I think they will do Baron on spawn. Become Decker will be focused here in the bot lane as Senpai Cheese and Plex go for it. Great flash, even better ever. Was it never fire? No, it was just a straight light binding coming out of Become Decker. And so Become Decker definitely becoming a superhero in this game with dodges like that. And I did see Neverfrost. It was just flexing, and it didn't land on anything. While Eternity, he's getting the top P2. He's taking Regretful Angel to cast. And I would have to say that, well. Okay, so Baron goes with Konosuga. They do secure it this time around. They do get the kill on Senpai Cheese, and the rest of Waterloo are running for the hills. But the final spark finds 2. And now Eternity goes in, trying to find some more damage, but he's going to back away before they over-aggress and give something back. But Regretful Angel, he's TPing in behind them. It's going to be a 1v5 situation. And, well, the Condors. That's not just a Regretful Angel. That's now a Fallen Angel back to the realm of the gray screen. And hopefully will come back alive in time to help defend his team's base. But Konosuga with the wave there. Look to knock on the base of Waterloo, but with low health bars, low mana. They play it safe and they back off. And in 90 seconds, give or take, we will have the Soul Dragon available for Konosuga. And so I can quite see a world where Konosuga, they say, fine, we have tempo, we have map advantage, let's not throw our lead, let's play it smart, let's get the Soul Dragon, and then let's win the game. And I think that will be the order of progression here for Konosuga. Right now, it's a little bit too early to set up for Dragon as a team. So Lopachinski getting in a little bit more gold. And with 1,300, he's probably looking for about 1,400 right now in order to finish his next item, which I want to say is going to be the Blade of the Rune King, if I had to make a guess. And so if he can finish that item, that's a huge power spike for him. And there it is, just enough to finish that buy. And he'll get the Dragon on time, where Konosuga have already set up their vision, and we can see that the map is nearly entirely dark for Waterloo Black. I don't think that's where the black in their name comes from, but a black map that you can't see anything on is a dangerous map, and this Dragon should handily go over to the Konosuga's Condors right now. Regretful Angel gets the first tower of the game for Waterloo. Now, to be fair, this time last game, Waterloo was ending the game. But this time, game 3, they're just taking the first turret for themselves, while Konosuga, they're taking Soul. Definitely a discrepancy in power between these two teams. And the gold lead, it's about, 8,000 gold right now, I'd say? Yeah, 8,000. Okay, 8,500 gold. You know, mental math always challenging. You know, teachers always said I would never walk around with a calculator, and they drilled those exercises. I never thought I would need them just for casting, but apparently I did.
Smaller than the diagram.
Now. Waterloo, they need to make something happen here. They need to find a way back in this game. They need a spark. Not a final spark, just the first spark, an ember, to light a fire for their team that they can rally behind, that they can call for help, though Gondor won't come. Not this time. Or sorry, Rohan. Rohan won't come this time. Almost had the analogy. Oh well, we learn, we improve, we get better. And that's exactly what Konosuga has done this game. They had a tumultuous game 2 there, but they figured out how to stabilize. And off of Eternity's pop-off performance on the Poppy, they found a way to win. They haven't won yet, but they're doing good. Come Decker gets locked under tower there and tries to trade some damage back, doesn't quite get it. But Conestoga, they secured the T2 mid tower as well, and that helps. Now Eternity, he's in a bit of a dangerous place there, as it looks like multiple members of Waterloo are looking to collapse on their little Yortle friend there in the top lane. But he backs up, plays it safe, has vision as well there in that one elbow bush in or near the red buff, or top red side jungle. So, he's feeling pretty confident. Lobachinski stripping the jungle on bot side as well, starving Senpai Chi from any gold. And now Regretful Angel starting to figure out this matchup, not get knocked up by the CC coming out of Poppy, but still, opening himself up for a lot of chip damage. Now Conestoga, they will force the tower as the cannon reaches it, and they pick up the local gold. So Conestoga, up to 9,000 gold. Definitely incurring their gold eats though. Definitely raising it a little bit at a time, and it's paying dividends for them. Now, the main hurdle, the next hurdle, the big hurdle, is the inhibitor line. Can they crack that? And can they do so in the next, I'll say 3 minutes? Baron, while it's coming up in a minute, you generally want to set up after you've done or knocked down an inhibitor tower or nexus, so that way you have those super minions pushing to draw pressure away from a Baron to make sure it's safer. Where with Elder Dragon, I think you fight for it or set up for it no matter what, especially if you're stay ahead. If you have the map pressure available from a down inhibitor, great. That's something you want, but ultimately you fight for Elder no matter what, especially if you're Waterloo. An Elder buff could win them the game. Okay, not win the game because they're too far behind and there's too many towers still left alive, that they would have to have impeccable wave timing, we'll say, to like win the fight, have the wave pushing before it gets to the tower so they don't drop anything, and then take the towers to keep the wave alive. It's possible, but they would need more than just the Elder to win the game right now. And Eternity, he's in a potential 1v3 situation. Aggress onto the Regretful Angel here, and he has so much time, but he gets stunned up there as well. Gets the Buckler, trying to buy as much time as he can. It's Overflow and Fletcher there as well. And it's a 1v3 situation, and it doesn't quite go in favor of Eternity. But this time, Senpai Cheese does not get the Baron steal. And so, Condors, they get the Baron. And they want the win here. They've traded 1-for-1 across the map. There's a top wave pushing. Mid wave is going as well. And Waterloo, they're not in position to defend the base. As you can see that Scrim is trying to cut the minion wave from behind. But with 3 minions there, I think Conestoga have more than enough health to tank the tower, especially if Slightly is dropping the Heimerturret to draw the tower aggro as well. So there's mid inhib tower down. There's mid inhib down. And so Conestoga, they have a lot of pressure there. And with Scrim sitting in the awkward position, maybe they can look to collapse here. But Conestoga moving together. They're waiting for the extended blast cone to really get themselves out of there. And, Slightly living there just by a few pixels, I dare say. And, because this is the game of ands. Not buts, but ands. Well, and timer gets shut down there. And Fiora was able to get the bot T2 tower as well. So now this is a bit precarious for Conestoga. They have Baron, they have the lead, they have super minions pushing, but being down slightly means that setting up Elder Dragon is now a 4v5 situation, which they have to be careful. So to use a Valorant term, which I'm recently learning, is that they have to play retake on this objective. They almost have to give up setup to Waterloo, but Waterloo also has to take the initiative to do that. Instead, they get spotted out. Lobachinski plays it safe with the Herald Path. And now we see Regretful Angel keeping in slightly, still isn't there yet. They are spotted out on Vision, and so this is going to be a coin flip Elder. Scrim isn't doing damage. He's away on the far side. He gets locked down by his Tom Decker and gets collapsed. So, Conestoga Condors, they now have priority on this Elder Dragon. When your ADC isn't there, Waterloo, they can't really do anything. They have to rely on Senpai Cheese to get the steal. But Condors, they don't have to go for the Dragon right now either, as they get another kill on Lex. And that Ari is turned into a nice, fine pelt. Senpai Cheese is spotted out by Slightly. All Slightly has to do is keep that jungler away. And in overflow, goes for the Dragon steal, but the Dragon doesn't die to Senna's ultimate ability, because Senna's ultimate ability only hurts champions. It doesn't hurt neutrals or monsters. So, now Condors double GG to the base, and overflow gets clapped there. The Elder Dragon buff doing his job. Senpai Cheese with the Cyclone. He just goes down the drain. And now Regretful Angel's trying to come something, but he finds himself on the rough end of some CC, and now Scrim once more, I was going to say once more visiting the whatchamacallit, but that doesn't matter, because right now, 30 minutes into the game, it is Conestoga Condors winning their semifinal playoffs against their opponent, Waterloo Black. And I think this is the first time in history that Conestoga Condors have taken a series off of Waterloo in any league. So GG's, well played to our boys in gold and black. They stood up to the task here today and brought it home. Whew. Whew. You know, I just got to take a moment to appreciate this. Because when I was first playing with the team, and this goes back last year around this time, it was, I want to say either quarters or semifinals of OPSC. And we were thrilled that we took one game off for Waterloo. And now, as a program, we've grown to the point where we're taking a series off of Waterloo. And that is just massive growth, massive progression. And that comes from support from the bottom to the top. So, just, yeah, it's a bit of a moment for me. I'm a bit sentimental. But yeah, no, just excellent job by the boys here tonight. And the key was they solidified and stabilized their early game. If they couldn't do that, I doubt they would win the series. As we saw in Game 2, if Waterloo got ahead, they know how to win a game. They also lived and died by Senpai Cheese, and in the games that they lost, Senpai Cheese just wasn't up to par, wasn't carrying. So yeah, just the entire team stepped up for Conestoga. Become Decker, just rock solid in the mid lane there. Eternity, with that stellar performance in Game 3 here, really gave the Condors the spark and boost they needed to really fly high and reach new heights. And so with that, Conestoga Condors, we are off to the NECC Champions Great Lakes Divisional Finals. The first finals that we've achieved in NECC comes off the back of our efforts here tonight, and it's just fantastic to see. Now, I'm not quite sure who their opponent is yet, but, you know, if you bear with me for a sec, I may be able to dig that up. Oh, let's see. Where's the Jeopardy music when you need it? You know, Jeopardy music right now would be great. And it's against Illinois Wesleyan Shield. That is who we are meeting in the finals. So both first and second seed teams from the regular season have fallen. So the favorites to win it are out. So now it's the story of the underdogs. Which underdog will win? Will win. That's what it is. Just which underdog will win right now. Or Underbird. Yeah, we'll go with Underbird. Which Underbird will win, but seeing how only one of us is a bird, I'm going to say Condors with momentum here tonight. We can hopefully keep that going in next week and look to win the finals. Now, because I'm curious and I'm going to force this to work one way or another, I'm going to see if I can get an interview. So I'm going to throw it to a quick break and hopefully come back with an interview. So see you in a few minutes. Make sure to grab a drink and do some breathing exercises to come down from that excitement. So yeah, be right back. Okay, so I'm here with Lopaczynski, the team lead, the captain of the Condors Varsity League of Legends. And I guess the first question is, right now in this moment, how are you feeling?
Feels really good. Honestly, didn't expect to win against a powerful opponent like University of Waterloo, but yeah, I know it feels very good to win for sure.
Yeah, we had that exchange early before the series even started, and I believe your words were, "We'll try our best." And historically, that's meant that it's like, yeah, you don't quite have the faith to win it, but today your best really did prove enough. The team really did come together. And who would you say was a standout performer tonight for the squad?
Um, well, I mean, that's tough. I think everyone played very well. I think the bot lane surviving against pushing lanes like that. Enemy picked Ezreal, Karma, Lux, Ezreal, these really heavily pushing lanes, and they were able to survive both games 1 and 3, which is like really impressive. Obviously Sheldon, the last game 1v2ing top, obviously huge moment. Ricky had great moments picking off the Ezreal before Elder, for example. The Asol in game 1 as well, doing crazy damage. I think picking one person I think is an injustice, you know.
I actually agree with that. Everyone stepped up in their own way tonight, whether it was a solo performance, staying alive, and not conceding the small victories or mistakes. Because as I know that you're fond of, is that teams tend to beat themselves. And tonight, outside of game 2, there was very, very few mistakes made by the Condors. And I think that really did help the team step up, perform well, and get the series win. And so with this momentum, how do you feel about the finals?
Yeah, feel pretty ambitious, I guess. I heard you say that we're facing Illinois, Wesleyan Shield.
Yes, Illinois Wesleyan.
So I mean, that's pretty interesting. Also not really expected. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Lancers and UW were obviously the two favorite teams. So I mean, I guess this will be fun. Us and Illinois but two teams that we probably both didn't expect to make it this far. So we'll see what happens.
Well, yes, we will see what happens next week. You know, definitely going to be trying to live stream it as well, no matter what, because it's the finals. We just have to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still trying to process the win here tonight, and I wasn't even playing. So, how does it feel for you trying to process the win to overcome a long-standing foe?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, it's really heartwarming, I guess. Probably like I said, the result not that we expected, but I mean, I think after game 1, there was a little bit more belief from everyone that we could win. I mean, we took a game off them. I think UW probably played a little bit disrespectful at times, and I think this is probably what happens. Specifically, I recall in game 1 when they were doing Dragon. It was the Hextech drag. Game 1, the first Dragon, they were very low, doing it in our face, and Viego had no flash. And it was moments where it's like, okay, this has to be illegal, right? And then we killed them all, took the drag. And so from there, I was like, okay, well, if these guys are going to play like that, well, then we can definitely win.
Yeah, you can punish those mishaps, those missteps.
Yeah.
And you did so phenomenally as well. And, you know, I asked if you can pick one person, and you couldn't because there just wasn't one person to pick because
Absolutely.
Everyone stepped up. But was there one play you felt really stood head and shoulders above that showed that the team can do it, the team can win this?
Yeah. Well, Sheldon 2v1ing last game, definitely huge. Something our coach Yuri pointed out afterwards is that the enemy top laner was spam question mark pinging Sheldon for the rest of the game in every trade. I think picking Poppy into Fiora, that counter, he hasn't played before, and it kind of showed. They were really desperate to punish Sheldon, and it did not work out. So, I mean, that probably stands out. But, yeah, I definitely don't want to discredit bot lane at all for being so stable against very decorated opponents with, like, favorable lanes. Like, it's very impressive how everyone played.
Now, we've talked a lot about the good, but there's always room for improvement. So if you had to pick one area quickly in hindsight, where would you say as a team you could improve for next week?
Probably I think our objective control, as in like how we enter objectives, could use some work. You know, communicating about how we want to walk into river, just how we approach these fights, like how we want to get wards. It's something that we've talked about a lot this year. We've actually improved that a lot as well. A lot of the mistakes that we would make, like getting caught at a silly time and ending up having to give an objective because of that, we didn't really commit any mistakes like that today, which was nice to see. Yeah, probably more of that is where we would focus.
Okay, I like that. Just those incremental improvements. You know, you have the building blocks, now you build onto it and see how high you can go. And with that, I'm basically out of questions except for one. Shoutouts. Who do you want to shout out?
First, I would like to shout out my girlfriend Sydney. She watches like all my games. It's very touching. I saw her in chat after saying like "woohoo, let's go." You know, that always warms my heart to see. Her support means a lot to me. I just want to shout out my team as well, and Yuri, our coach, as well. I mean, it's been really fun to work with these guys. I think I'll specifically shout out Sheldon. This is his last semester with us, and so it's been really fun to play with him. Yeah. Oh, actually, I'll also shout out my brother-in-law, Shane. He also watches all my games. He's an even bigger fan probably than my girlfriend. I know she'll agree with that as well. So shout out him as well.
Some nice wholesome shoutouts. Well, that wraps it up here for tonight's NECC semifinals action against Waterloo Black. Conestoga reigns supreme, and we're the better team on the night, and we'll be advancing to the finals. So, before we get to that stream, we do have the Rocket League semifinals on Friday. It will be a late night show for sure, but make sure to tune in then. Until then, I'm Sarah Stims. This is Lopaczynski, and have a good night. See you on the other side.